Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So, Saints-Patriots is a matchup between two teams that are looking to spark offenses that have been terrible. Both are in the bottom third of the NFL in scoring. Both have hit the 20-point mark on the season just once. The Saints have scored 4 offensive touchdowns through 4 games. For some context, that is the fewest number of touchdowns scored by the Saints offense through 4 games since 1975. Forget the Peyton Breeze era. 1975. The franchise was 8 years old the last time you were this inept offensively through 4 games. And we were expecting this offense to be really good, bringing in Derek Carr. You've got Kamara, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas is back healthy, Rashid Shaheed, you drafted Kendre Miller, Trevor Penning is ready to step in on your offensive line. We expected this offense to be really good, and they are not. A lot of fingers have pointed at Pete Carmichael, and when he met with reporters, he took ownership of the issues.
When you really just look at all aspects, I think I got to do a better job, and it's my responsibility, regardless of what any of the situations is. Obviously, the red zone is one of them, but there's things that, again, it's on me. I got to get those things fixed and corrected, and I got to do a better job. So 100% on me, but right now, my focus right now is on the preparation for this week.
Good for him for taking ownership of it. It's what he should do. Ultimately, when you are the coach, it's on you. Either you had a bad scheme, you didn't coach the players well enough to execute the scheme that you've put into place, or you're responsible for bringing in the players that can't execute. So for whatever reason, yes, it always falls back onto coaching. And it goes even past Pete Carmichael to Dennis Allen. But it's just evident as the sample size grows what they are. And Carmichael even said, like, the pieces are there offensively.
Yeah, I think I love the work that we've done this week. I think that, we just got to find that game that it clicks, the rhythm gets going, and I think we got the right personnel.
If you got the right personnel, how do you try to get going? This is such a tough one to pick, and odds makers are split on it. This is a pick'em right now, as it sits right now on Friday at 5:40 p.m. Central. It's a coin toss. I mean, it's a pick'em. The line in Vegas. You have two teams offensively that are very bad, that are among the worst in the NFL. And when you look defensively, the Saints are probably a nose past the Patriots defensively. And on top of that, the fact that New England is without Matthew Judon, who's their best defensive player, and without Christian Gonzalez, one of their starting cornerbacks. Now, they brought J.C. Jackson back this week, as we've talked about quite a bit. But these are two teams right now that are leaning heavily on their defense and are trying to find something with their offense. When it comes down to something like this, for me, a game like this, where I'm a little torn, I generally will defer to quarterback, coaching, and where the game's being played. I'll look at those 3 things. Well, the game's being played in New England, so that's clearly an advantage for the Patriots. I mean, no one's going to argue against that. Quarterback, obviously Derek Carr has been a better quarterback in his career than Mac Jones has here in year 3, and there's calls there for him to be benched for Bailey Zappi. But the other part of it is Bill Belichick. And while they've had their struggles this year, nobody's going to deny that. They lost 38-3 last week to Dallas. You could say, well, Mike McCarthy, Bill Belichick. But Dallas's roster is infinitely better. That wasn't a coin flip. That wasn't a pick-em type game. Dallas is a much better team than New England. It's if you're torn. That's just what I look at. And nobody is going to mistake Bill Belichick for Dennis Allen or Dennis Allen for Bill Belichick. Belichick with a win would join Don Shula and George Halas as the only coaches in NFL history to win 300 games. So there's some history on the line in New England as well this weekend. Everybody's playing, looking at the under. It's 39. The total's 39 in this game. You're expecting no points. I mean, What do we see, a 20-19 ball game? Maybe. It's so hard for me, if I'm being objective, to justify picking the Saints, to pick Dennis Allen to go on the road in New England with a stagnant offense and beat the Patriots. If they're able to do it, I think it looks a lot like the game did in Cleveland last year. It was that freezing cold game, if you remember, and the Saints won. I think it was 13-10 was the final. Deshaun Watson was back from his suspension at that point. The Saints' offense was abysmal like they were for much of the season last year and are right now, but they won the game with ball control and defense, and it would be something similar. Maybe the Saints can do that, but I can't in good conscience pick the Saints, who are scuffling offensively, whose defense just allowed Baker Mayfield and the Bucs to come into the Dome and punk them to end the streak of 11 straight games of holding opponents to 20 points or fewer. To think that team's going to go on the road and beat New England. I understand this isn't the New England Patriots that was winning Super Bowls. It's a different roster with a different quarterback, same head coach, and the franchise feels dramatically different. But the other part of it as well is when I look at New England this year, we've talked about this a good bit this week, but it's one thing to look at the record at 1-3. It's one thing to even look at the game against Dallas where they got run. But if you're watching this team play, they beat the Jets. In the first two games they played against the Eagles and the Dolphins, they were right there with a chance to win those football games against two of the best teams in the NFL. Most would agree that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. If not, it's Eagles, Niners, 1A, 1B. And until last week when the Dolphins lost in Buffalo, I mean, they scored 70 against Denver, and that offense was rolling. I mean, the Dolphins are one of the best teams in the league. And that was a game that New England had a chance to win late. So it would be different if we had seen New England get run the way they did in Dallas 3 times this year. But they were right there against two of the best teams in the NFL in weeks 1 and 2 and lost. They beat the Jets and then got pummeled last week by a really good Dallas team that was looking for a little bit of comeback after being embarrassed themselves in Arizona the week before. So, yes, I would love to see the Saints go on the road, get this thing righted. I'm not sure that I can get there to pick it this weekend. So I'll take New England in a close, low-scoring ball game that we're all expecting to see. But until I see the Saints offense get rolling again, especially against a Bill Belichick coach defense, it's going to be hard for me to just take that leap and think that it's going to happen. I'm going to have to see it happen because I don't know that I'm trusting Pete Carmichael to go outwit Bill Belichick on Sunday in New England. So I think the Patriots win, hand the Saints their third consecutive loss. Probably leave them searching a little bit with a road trip to Houston ahead and then a short week at home against Jacksonville on the horizon for the New Orleans Saints. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.